in 2009.
Hey guys, play tough, play fair. Don't forget to enjoy, huh? Come in, let it go.
And here we go, the gold medal game in Halifax. Olin Zellweger slides that pass out of Dylan Gunther. In comes Gunther with a quick chance, spins back, that's poked away by Yuri Kulik, the overtime hero for the Czechs in their semifinal against Sweden. David Jiricek scored the tying goal in that game late in the third period, under a minute to go. Ethan Del Mastro, lead pass to Brennan Hoffman on his 20th birthday, had that knocked away. Picked up now by Tyson Hines, who fires it back down to the Czechia zone. Suhanek plays for Tri-City, the Western League. Plays that back around for Martin Rishabi. Jacob Kos had that broken up. Stanko and finds Bedard. Connor Bedard works in. That's knocked on by David Spacek, who's been terrific for Czechia in this tournament. Back at the point, Hines plays it back in. Stanislav Svozil, Bedard's teammate with Regina Pats, had that knocked away, and Brant Clark is back to pick it up. Slides that back to Tyson Hines. Hines with it back down to the Czechia zone as both teams will change. Picked up by Joshua Waugh, shoots from a sharp angle, that goes wide. Bedard back on it, trying to center it. Picked up by Svozil, and ahead it goes to Schmelash. Works back in, Melash now. Had it knocked away, Waugh. Tied up by Providence. Joshua Waugh, terrific semifinal for Canada against Team USA. Slides it up to Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard. Quick move. And Hammer shoots. And Suhanek makes the stop. But an early dash from Connor Bedard. Now a battle for it at center ice. Moved across by Nolan Allen. And a big hit there by Gaucher. And we have an interference call against Nathan Gaucher, a minute and 45 seconds into the first period.
Discipline was a problem when these two teams met.
Team Canada player at number 21, 2 minutes for interference.
On Boxing Day, and he finishes a check on a guy who never touched the puck. There was a tighter standard to interference at this tournament, and Canada will have to kill a penalty, and Connor Bedard gets a rare shift, not against the top two pairs, and he blocks Hamara. Big outside, inside move. Tries tight angle shot turned aside by Suhanek.
Czechs are 5 for 18 on the power play, 5 different goal scorers. Canada's been shorthanded more than any team in the tournament, allowing 5 goals on 25 opposition attempts. Hines off the face-off, chips that back down to the Czech zone.
And there was a couple power play goals in the first meeting between these two teams that really led Czechs the victory.
Zach Dean took a 5-minute major. The game misconduct in that game. As Edward Shala winds in. Shala, draft-eligible prospect, expected to go to the top 10. That pass knocked away. Kulik. Back down for Marcel Martel. Here is Kulik with it. Winds it back across. Jiricek shoots. That was blocked by Hines. Jiricek. Drops it back. Shala moves it and shoots. That's blocked by Hines. Jiricek back with it. Shoots again. That's blocked in front. Hines reaching for it. Tyson Hines plays that back for Del Mastro. And Ethan Del Mastro fires it back down.
A heck of a sequence for Hines. Wins the puck on the faceoff, gets it clear, 2 blocks, doesn't panic on the retrieval to help kill down the first minute.
And remember in the quarterfinal win that Canada got in overtime against the Slovaks, it was Hines who made a goal line save with his hand in the dying minutes of regulation. Spacek up for Sturz. Drops it off for Providence. And brought it by Svozil. He's poke checked there by Mateer. Jack Mateer stays with him. Now a centering pass. And that bounced away. Loose in front. And a great chance there for Czechia, picked up by Sturz. Back at the point. Svozil shoots. Blocked in front. Miloš with a shot. He put it wide. 30 seconds to go on the Czechia power play. Spacek plays it back across to Providence. Providence. Down for Sturz, the centering pass. Miloš rolls that wide. Allen on it. Brings it off the glass, but not out. Providence with it. Tied up, and it's kicked ahead by Bankier. Caden Bankier fires it down. Joshua Waugh in deep as Suhanek goes out to play it and drops it back to Svozil. Waugh forces Spacek out as time winds down on his power play. One shot for the Czechs on it. Hamara for Jakob Kos. Picked off by Brant Clark. Flips that back down to the Czechia zone. A race for it. That'll be icing against Canada.
So the Canadians are well aware of the Czechs' propensity to shoot the puck for the point, especially big David Jiricek. And so Tyson Hines puts himself right in that shot lane. That doesn't feel good. Follows it up with another one from Shella. And the appreciation of the bench, that does not feel good.
Shane Wright on his 19th birthday for the face-off against Menchik. So two Canadians, Wright and Offman, celebrating birthdays today. And off the draw, it's brought out by Dylan Guenther. In comes Guenther, chips that down to the Czech zone, gets it behind Moravec. And Moravec, who plays here in Halifax, falls in the corner. Pick free, Rishavi. By the wall, sealed by Offman. Zellweger plays it back in, and the bouncing puck goes to Menchik. Big wide pass for Koch. And Jakob Koch works in. Clark fell. Koch has some room, trying to center it, and Wright stepped back on him. Wright up to Offman, chips it back to center ice. And Chet back to pick it up. Jahacek. Long shooting, bounces wide. Comes up the other side, and Clark picks it back up. Hung up with the referee there. Now it's played back across to Allen. Nolan Allen from Davidson, Saskatchewan plays out ahead. Waugh got knocked off the puck. And that puck goes off the stick of Guenther, up and out of play.
Even the very best goal scorers, and Connor Bedard certainly is that. Every now and then needs a little guidance. He tries Suhanik from the tight angle, goes to the bench. There's Benjamin Gaudreau, backup goaltender, staying involved, talking about maybe what to think about, what he's seeing as well. On some of those angled looks, we've seen Bedard score a couple from down near the goal line.
Suhanik plays for Tri-Cities. You mentioned the Western League, got pulled from his only game against Regina this year. Was pulled in the semifinal last year against Canada as well in Edmonton. Played them twice, allowed 9 goals in the 2 games. He was terrific, though, in the round-robin meeting on Boxing Day this year. Here's Bedard. Rink-wide pass on the tape of Waugh. With Stankoven. The drop for Logan Stankoven. In, shoots. He whistled that wide. And the puck all the way back down to the Canadian zone as Allen goes back to pick it up. Allen. Gains center ice and flips that down. Jahacek knocks it down. And Jiricek plays it back across to Yuri Jahacek. Plays for Kladno in the Czech League. And his 50-year-old teammate in Jaromir Jagr this year. Good Schaefer plays that down. Play continues as he falls. Jiricek for Brabinets with a head of steam. In comes Brabinets. Shoots. Knocked away by Milic. Third smack on it. Got bumped there along the boards by Fantilli. Now fired back down. Milic back to play it. Feeds it across to Clark. Taps it there for Hines. He got bumped but made the play for Owen Beck, who joined Canada for the medal round after the injury to Colton Jock on New Year's Eve. Rink wide pass to Frank Clark. In comes Clark with it, flips it back down to the Czech zone, and Alice Czech is back to pick it up. Picked out by Schaefer. Reed Schaefer with a puck loose in the corner. Picked out by Marcel Marcel, lifts it ahead, and Mahura had to go off the stick of Zellweger into the Canadian bench. 13:45 to go here in the first period. No score in the gold medal game.
Come on. You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy. Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate. Skate. Pass it. You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck. Come on.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
Tied at 0 between Czech and Canada for the gold, and Czechs are about a half a minute away from not even being here. 38 seconds left. Jiricek ties it. 48 seconds left in overtime. Kulik wins it, and the Czechs punch their ticket, guaranteeing themselves a medal. Well, they want the gold.
12 of these Czechs play in the Canadian Hockey League, so familiar to the Canadian players. 17 of the 22 on the roster play outside Czechia. Sweden, Finland, an NCAA player, an American League player in Juracek, who plays for Cleveland of the American League, the AHL affiliate of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jack Montier steps up. That's knocked by him. And Del Mastro back to pick it up. Ethan Del Mastro back across. Gaucher looks to flip that, and it goes off the stick of Dean, up and out.
And so the Czechs are much like Canada in the sense they don't have that built-in connection of playing together throughout the year, like some of the other European countries that play in tournaments. Besides this one, they all kind of come together last minute, but they, from start to finish, have shown themselves to be every bit as good as anybody in this tournament. Boxing Day was not an aberration. Them being the gold medal is not undeserved.
Very good defense, and our goaltender has been exceptional. Zellweger wrists that back down. Hoffman on the hunt against Spacek. Right. Wins that battle for the puck to Hoffman. Centers it. That's broken up by Svozil. Back at the point. Hines across to Zellweger. Shoots. That got through it, so Hanek knocked that away. Hoffman back with it. Hoffman spins and fires. That goes wide. Zellweger steps up. Olin Zellweger plays for Canadian coach Dennis Williams with Everett. Knocked down. Poke free by Gunther. In comes Hines for it. Plays it down to the corner. Spacek plays it to the lineman, not out. Glove down. Gunther back across to Hoffman. Feeds his puck in front. Right taken down. Now Howard for a penalty there. Shapovalov ahead for Kulik. Zellweger stays with him. Kulik shoots from a sharp angle. Milic gets an arm on that. Gunther back with it. And now Hines up along the boards. Spins back. At fourth there by Shala, and Hines plays it for Gunther to the line, but not out. Tihacek shoots. That hit right. Gunther back with it, and Canada settles things down. On comes Stankoven, Bedard and company, as Hines spins back. Czechs are the home team, have the last change in this game. So the Czechs picking at Juracek and Tihacek out against the Bedard line. In comes Brandt Clark, walks in, feeds in front for Bedard. That just missed. And Bedard tried to center it. Tihacek knocked that away. Now picked up by Stankoven. Logan Stankoven looks back at the point. Held by Allen. Long wrist shot floats wide. Bedard falls. And Coe squeezes that by Clark and back down the ice. Allen goes back. Icing waved off as Allen picks up the loose puck. Here's Clark with it. Turned over to Menchik. And Menchik plays it back in. Nolan Allen plays for Seattle in the Western League, one of 4 Seattle Thunderbirds on this team. And now Clark plays it back down. Moravec's lost it. Stankoven tried to center it. Stankoven back with it. Swings that back for Bedard. And Bedard across the top. Balls and shoots. The whistle sounded before the shot was taken, and Bedard gets a bump there from Hammer, who didn't like that late shot.
The linesman was right on top of that. I think he got it right, too. It looked like it.
And the whistle sounded before Bedard took the shot.
Which means it wouldn't count even if it didn't come out of the end zone. Bedard loves trying to walk the blue line, and the one extra handle right there. And now puck's in the air when he shoots it, but here the next handle.
Yep.
Just inch and a half out. The line is right on top of it, where he drifted it in.
We mentioned a Canadian linesman working this game. We had a Swedish linesman work the bronze medal game earlier. The IHF is trying to evolve to where referees and linesmen from competing countries can officiate medal round games. Fantilli sends that back down the Czech zone. Schaefer after it. Fantilli works it free. And Melash spins away from Bankier. Big pass for Sturz. Sturz with a steal. Walks it and shoots. Hit the goal post. And now back comes Del Mastro the other way. Ethan Del Mastro plays that back ahead. Hines back to pick it up. Close call there. And now 9.5 gone here in a scoreless first period. Here's Hines with it. Lays that down to the Czech zone. Gaucher takes a swipe at it. Big hit by a stab check as he stepped in to Mahura. Now forced free by Gaucher. And Marcel plays it back down to the Canadian zone as Korchinski goes back. Icing called against the Czechs.
Very close call. Gabriel Schurz as Damasio just fans on a backhand pass, and the quick counter of the Czechs almost strikes. Is a heck of a wrister. Rolling puck beats Milic over the shoulder, but not the bar. The Czechs will do this. They attack quickly. They got a whole bunch of speedy forwards. They don't have to have the puck a whole bunch in the offensive zone to get their goal-scoring opportunities.
Right. Off the face-off, control by the Czechs. Mahura plays that over the glass and out. And this hard-fought, tight-checking first period continues. 9:59 to go. The Czechs came that close to taking a 1-0 lead.
The average person can't push past the pain it takes to be great. This is the moment you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do whatever it takes?
It's about the energy of a packed arena, the anticipation of puck drop, the heroic saves, and the one-timers out of nowhere. It's about the moment, in person and among fans. Because live only happens once. Get your tickets on Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NHL.
Poshmark is the perfect side hustle. There's so much I can sell. Bags, clothes, and even electronics. It's so easy. I can list in 60 seconds or less. I can't imagine a better side hustle.
NFL on TSN. Coverage continues Saturday. Doubleheader action kicks off with a matchup between the Chiefs and the Raiders, followed by the Titans and the Jaguars. Get that away at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on TSN. Okay.
Let's go!
That basically sums up the sounds of Halifax for the last 2 weeks. Shala pokes it ahead, gets it right back. Shala drops. Shapovalov in, shoots, whistle that wide. On the other side, Shapovalov couldn't get the puck to sit for us. Being shadowed there by Gunther. Shapovalov drops it off to Hatcha. Spins away from right. Back at the point, Shapovalov brings it back. Jiricek shoots. That's out the other side wide. And right fights off Shapovalov. Gunther reaching for it. Right goes ahead to Offman. And Canada breaks out 3-on-2. Offman winds in. Holds. Waits. Shoots. Tip right out. Johanna going to make a stop. His defenseman tipped the puck right to him. Jiricek back with it. Jiricek slammed there by Offman. And then Shapovalov throws down Offman. That's going to be a penalty to Shapovalov. A holding call will send Canada to the power play.
What a sequence from Brennan Offman. On the entry, creates the play, then absolutely hammers David Jiricek. Keeps his feet moving to draw a penalty.
Czechia, number 5. 2-minute minor, holding.
It's Jiricek who goes off.
What a hit. And he won't draw his penalty if he doesn't keep moving his feet. Jiricek doesn't drop his stick, drags down Offman, so
taking Jiricek off the ice
also helps for one of their better penalty killers.
And so Canada's power play, 13 for 28 in the tournament, led by Dylan Gunther, who has scored all 5 of his goals for the tournament on the power play. Czechs have allowed just 1 goal on 19 opposition attempts. The best defensive team in the tournament. Right, Bedard, Offman, Gunther the forward, Zellweger the defenseman on the back end. Off the draw, Svozil around the spot check by Gunther and back down the ice. And Spacek broke his stick. Jahacek comes on for him. Zellweger drops it back to Bedard. Lead pass to Gunther. Dylan Gunther drops it, takes a return pass from Offman. Banks that back through the broken stick to Zellweger. Gunther to right, shoots, touched just wide. Jahacek on it, and can't squeeze that by Zellweger. Back across to Bedard. Offman parked in front. Zellweger walks it and shoots. Jahacek save, and Wright puts the rebound wide. Back at the point is Zellweger. To Bedard. Offman fighting for space in front. Bedard. Back across to Zellweger. Zellweger drops it off to Gunther. Back across Bedard. Gunther winds in, shoots. Jahacek save, rebound loose in front. And Rishavi plays it back down the ice. Milic. Quick up for Gunther as the Czechs are changing. Gunther fires that down to the Czechia zone. Johanna leaves it there for Spacek. The wall was sealed by Fantilli. Down to Hoffman. Brendan Hoffman moves that back to Bedard. In comes Bedard, 45 seconds to go on the power play. Feeds across. Fantilli miscued that. Alishek lost the puck. Here's Hoffman with it. Rolls that back to Fantilli. Fantilli walks in. Feeds it back to Bedard. He and Hoffman crisscross. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Bedard feeds it back across. Gunther works that back for Clark. He holds the line. Frank Clark back for Gunther. Walks it and shoots. Ohana gets an arm on that. Spacek can't clear it out. Gunther drops it back. Here's Clark with it. Clark winds it across. Gunther shoots. Dylan Gunther, a lightning strike to the power play. And Canada leads 1-0.
Stay out for the entire 2 minutes. Hoffman being one of them. What a recovery, diving effort to keep that puck alive. And then Gunther just in his spot. He likes to sling those one-timers. Every one of his goals has come from his offside. One time he puts the power play. Then he goes bar down to get Canada on the board.
Gunther, 3 goals with the Arizona Coyotes this year. 6 goals in this tournament. Every single one of them scored in the power play. Mahura winds in on Allen. And Nolan Allen strips him of the puck. Turns the puck over to Hauser. In the corner, Mahura couldn't reach it. Hines puts that in. Hamara steps up. Hamara plays for Kitchener in the OHL. And now Hines steps up. Ostapchuk works that free to Allen. Allen up head to Ostapchuk. Zach Ostapchuk drops it off. Gaucher found that pass. And Mahura sends that ahead for Marcel. Marcel shoots. Village steers that to the corner. Now Zellweger back on it. Away comes Owen Zellweger. And Jiricek plays it back down to the Canadian zone. So Brendan Hoffman gets an assist on his 20th birthday on the power play goal by Gunther. Icing called here against Czechia.
And Gunther comes as advertised, just a tremendous shooter. He takes that one all the way deep on his blade on the heel, back foots it, but leans back to get it up, and just a perfectly placed shot over Suhanek's shoulder.
9th overall pick by Arizona in the 2021 draft. One of the picks they got from Vancouver in the Oliver Ekman-Larsson deal. He had a dynamite year for Edmonton. In the playoffs last year, he scored 13 goals in 16 games for the Edmonton Oil Kings until he got hurt. And couldn't play in the Memorial Cup. Bedard off the faceoff. Winds that back. Connor Bedard. Fans on the pass picked up by Shala. Shapovalov up for Kulik. Knocked away by Zellweger. And Stankoven back the other way to Joshua Waugh. Throws that down to the Czechia zone. Waugh was knocked off stride to Hatchek. Looks ahead for Kulik. That was knocked down for a moment. Now Shapovalov has it back. Zellweger defending. Shapovalov. Rink wide to Shala. And he's stopped in his tracks by Del Mastro. Waugh plays it out to Bedard. And Connor Bedard trying to tap that back. It's broken up as Shapovalov brings it back the other way. Shapovalov moves around Waugh. Winds in. Centers it. Kulik walks it and shoots. And Milic stops him point blank. Another sharp angle shot this time from Sozo. And Milic makes the glove stop. Dylan Gunther, the 19-year-old from Edmonton, has the opening goal in the gold medal game. It's a 1-0 lead.
Larry, check this out. With On Deck, we could get a small business loan fast and start hiring more help right away.
Or
Loan Cannon!
Why, Loan Cannon, why?
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. On Deck, the online lender that makes it easy to choose your loan and if approved, get funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
Canada leads 1-0. You come into this game knowing that both goalies are going to be very tough to beat. Thomas Vahanek played every minute of every game. Best save percentage, goals against 1.3. But Thomas Milic's emergence and his play in the semifinals has given Canada the confidence that our goaltender gives us every bit as good a chance to win as theirs, if not better, which is the feeling they were looking for to start the tournament.
Got unpicked through 2 NHL drafts, plays for Seattle in the Western League, played every minute of every game as Seattle went to the Western League final last year, all 25 games. Said he never experienced anything like it, just knowing he was going to go every night, and his team got all the way to the league final. He posted a .925 save percentage in those 25 games.
And Milic has talked a lot about loving the pressure, loving the big moment, and not shying away from it. Well, not much bigger than where he's at right now.
Gaucher versus Brabants for the face-off. Brabants wins that back to Svozil. Nets have had some looks here in the goalpost area. Miller shoots up towards the goal. Now picked up by Dean. Out with Gaucher and a Stapchuk. In comes Zach Dean. Trap angle shot goes off the stick of Svozil. Up and out of play.
And while the semifinal didn't seem close to the end, 6-2, it absolutely was. And the reason why Canada is playing for gold is the play of Thomas Milic in the semifinal. He was spectacular start to finish after rocky first period, responded with a great second and third. As Father Joe, Mother Stephanie watching along anxiously, I can only imagine what they're dealing with.
Face-off won by Wright. Gunther swings it back down and behind the Czech goal. Picked up by Hamarov. That's intercepted by Gunther. Dylan Gunther. That's spun around. Melash lost the puck to Auckland, who fires it right back down to the Czech end. Melash had it picked off. Wright throws it back in deep. 5 to go here in the pit. Off and a huge hit. Down, Melash. Played ahead to Gunther. The crowd roaring about that. Hoffman centers it just past right. Marcel's got it back. Marcel. Wearing number 16 for Czechia, which in the last tournament, Ivan wore. Now pick free by Wright. Out for Korchinski. And Korchinski risked that back down the Czech zone. Stankoven after it. And here's Jack Mateer from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Chipped in by Beck. Fantilli goes after it. Fantilli going to tap that back in front. Now it's picked up by Owen Beck. The centering pass broken up by Shapovalov. Jiricek throws it back in front, picked off. Fantilli plays it across. Just missed Beck with that pass. And Beck plays it back down to Fantilli. Shields off Jiricek. Bankier. Full shoulder and Shapovalov works it free for Beck. He centers it. Bouncing puck. Hines takes a whack at it. And Mateer goes back to pick it up and fires that back down to the Czech zone. Alice check for Kulik. Shapovalov was knocked off the puck by Stankoven. Stankoven to Bedard. Back in front by Taylor. Shot. That's blocked. Zellweger shoots. But the puck's wide. Fantilli back on it. Hooks it back in front. Picked up by Kulik. Away with Sala. And Sala has it taken away by Zellweger. Stankoven back to pick it up as the Czechs are changing. With a head of steam, away comes Logan Stankoven, the CHL Player of the Year last year. Stankoven winds in. Pushing it behind the goal, bumped there by Svozil. And Law comes in to help out. Knocked down by Bedard. Threads it back in front of Stankoven. He knocks it down. Chance for Waugh. Puck still loose. And Stankoven knocked that wide. And now Sahanic's lost his goal stick. In comes Bedard. Connor Bedard shoots. That's blocked. Del Mastro with it. Ethan Del Mastro throws it down to Stankoven. Stankoven drops it back to Bedard. It's off his skate. Close has it. Lead pass. Prishav with a breakaway. In comes Prishav. He shoots. And Bedard comes back the other way. Bedard shoots. Sahanik makes the stop. Now played to an open wing to Hotchek with it. And the crowd still buzzing about the chances at both ends. And the Milic chant going up. He had tears in his eyes last night when he heard it at the end of the game. Providence trying to feed that back. Ostapchuk steps into him. Work created a point, more of it. He lost the puck to Gaucher. Gaucher to Dean. In comes Dean across the line. Zach Dean for Gaucher. He's bumped off the puck by Moravec. Ostapchuk works it free. Zach Ostapchuk loose behind the goal. Ostapchuk drops that back to Allen. Allen moves in, plays that down to Gaucher. Puck squirts back in front, and Suhanek sweeps that away. Ostapchuk. The Vancouver Giants tries to poke the puck loose and does. Ostapchuk still with it. Skates away from Providence. Feeds it down to Dean. A heavy shift for Canada, leaning on the Czech defenders as Wright comes in. Providence lifts that high in the air to the line, and Pine sweeps it back in. Canada tags back up as Providence goes back. Another discarded neck guard on the ice. That's been a nightly feature of games involving Czechia. High up for Hoffman, chips it back down to the Czech zone. A minute to go here in the first period. Juracek swings it around. Hauser. Hauser moves it up, has his pocket picked by Wright. Away comes Shane Wright. Drops it off to Gunther. That pass just missed Hoffman. And now right back with it for Gunther. Sweeps that down to Hoffman. Rolling puck. Hoffman tried to center it. And Hauser has it back. Bangs it off the glass and back down. And Zellweger goes back, but icing was waved off. Roland Zellweger. For Del Mastro. Up ahead for Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard. Walks in. Stands up and shoots. And the save made by Suhanek. In comes Zellweger. He fires with the wide. Bouncy puck on the side of the goal. Knocked away by Svozil. Waugh knocks it back for Zellweger. 10 seconds to go in the period. Zellweger feeds across to Del Mastro. Winds and shoots. And Suhanek makes the glove save.
Really nice play from a control breakout from Canada. Gets it to Connor Bedard's hands. He does the rest. Draws all the attention before kicking over to Stankoven. And upstairs has been the order of the day for Canada while shooting on Suhanek. And a very quick counter for Xavi as Thomas Milic, once again, hasn't had too much work, just 5 shots, but several quality looks for the Czechs on the quick counterattacks.
Now Joshua Waugh will take the face-off for Canada. He won one that led to the first Canadian goal by Bedard against the U.S. last night. Waugh, left-hand shot. Canada's top 3 centers are righties. Scramble draw. Svozil plays that down. And as Rushavi goes after it, time expires. And the power play goal by Dylan Gunther stands as the only one so far. Canada a 1-0 lead in the gold medal game of the 2023 World Junior Hockey Championship in Halifax.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see.
The slot shots on net, 6-1 the chances off the cycle, but it's a tight hockey game. 1-0 for Canada on Dylan Gunther's 6th of the tournament. To Gordon Miller and Mike Johnson for the 2nd from Halifax.
Dylan Gunther has his 6th goal in this World Junior Championship. All of them scored in the power play. Clark and Hoffman draw the assists. Canada 1-0 lead after 1 period of play. Brendan Hoffman celebrating his 20th birthday today, trying to become one of 8 Canadian players in this team to win back-to-back gold medals at the World Junior Championship. He was busy in that first period.
Pretty invigorated for his birthday day. He's played fantastic in that first period. And you think in a game like this against the Czechs, a big game and a big moment, you want a guy who's got the right kind of attitude, who's not going to be scared of the moment. Brendan Othman is most certainly wired that way, where he wants to be in the center of everything, and he was in the first period. You knew that the Czechs' big, strong defense, at some point, Canada will have to push back physically. It gets on a hit, draws a penalty. These second efforts to keep pucks alive on the power play directly led to the Gunther goal, but he didn't stop there. And Othman's been active with his stick, good defensively, turning pucks over, but really inciting the crowd and his teammates with his physical play. That was about as well as you could ever ask Othman to play in one period.
We mentioned this is the first time that Canada and Czechia have met in a gold medal game under this format, but they did meet twice in tournaments with a gold medal on the line. In 1982, Mike Moffat, brilliant, preserved the tie as Canada got the gold medal. And in 1985 in Helsinki, Wendell Clark scored on Dominic Hasek in the third period. The 3-3 tie gave Canada the gold medal. Clark, both a forward and defenseman in that game and in that tournament, had never played forward before. Went first overall in the following draft and became a rugged winger for the Toronto Maple Leafs and elsewhere through his NHL career. Teams start this second period 5-on-5. Each team had a power play in the opening period. Canada scored, and it's the goal by Gunther. Kulik has that puck picked up at center ice by Wright. Zellweger looks ahead for Othman. That's knocked down by Jiricek. Lead pass for Kulik. Zellweger pokes that away. And Wright banks it back down to the Czech zone. Jiricek goes back. The 6th overall pick NHL draft in 2022 by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jiricek, who loves to shoot, works in, got knocked off the puck by Del Mastro, and they're going to call that a penalty
Late.
on Del Mastro.
Very late.
And so the Czechs get an early power play 40 seconds into the second period.
Jiricek trying to wind his way up the ice. Del Mastro doesn't really get a lot of him. Does he keep his feet? Yeah, he gets his foot out there. That's probably the trip. But Antti Salonen didn't have his arm in the air until well after Shane Wright had the puck on his stick. Fresh ice and an early power play opportunity for the Czechs.
Gaucher for the face-off against Gabriel Sturz of the Kelowna Rockets. And a scramble draw, poke free by Hines. Melash moves that back to Svozil. Stanislav Svozil works it and shoots. That's off the stick of Gaucher, up and out of play.
Svozil has been at the center of a lot of what the Czechs have done well with the puck in this tournament. He is amongst the leading scorers. Of course, there's a whole bunch of Czech players there.
11 of their 35 goals have been scored by defensemen.
Rivko and Janssen padded their stats in that wild 8-7 bronze game.
USA led that game twice by 2. Took the lead, gave it up late, and then won it in overtime to finish third. Swedes will be fourth, the host team in next year's World Junior Championship. Rabinets winds his way up. Rabinets drops that across for Sturz, who got crunched there by Hines. Rabinets back on it. Feeds that back at the point for Svozil.
Spacek is a shooter for this power play group.
Rabinets back for Svozil on the line, and that pass broken up by Bankier. Rabinets steps away from him. Allen couldn't knock the puck away. Picked up by Sturz. Gabriel Sturz feeds it back across to Rabinets. Being shadowed by Bankier. Rabinets feeds back across. Spacek shoots, but makes the save through the traffic, and there's no rebound.
Spacek's had a very strong tournament. We've seen him in this position before on the power play, playing in the Ovechkin spot. And doing Ovechkin things. He just likes to hammer one-timers. He gets a lot on that one, but Milic able to make the save and squeeze the rebound. Making that save look easy as you read the pass, knowing where the Czechs want to go with it.
Gaucher for the face-off against Shapovalov. Kulik plays that back to Edward Shala. Shala to Jiricek. Back to Shala. Slides that back to Jiricek. Across he goes, and a hard shot sticks to the pad of Milic as Kulik unloaded there.
We have seen that a few times from Milic, where the puck seems to get lodged underneath his skate. Exactly right, sticks underneath the pad as it's deflected down and tucked underneath there between the top of the skate and the bottom of the pad. He's looking for it, but I'm sure he can feel it in his feet.
51 seconds to go on the Czech power play, and we're getting a warning here from the referee, Antti Salonen, for late changes by Canada. Again, Czechia is the home team, has the last change. Shapovalov now adjusting his equipment. Make sure that neck guard is on nice and tight. It's been raining neck guards in this tournament. Bankier wins the faceoff. Hines past Juracek, a race for it. Now Ostapchuk. He's got Bankier with it. Ostapchuk looks back to pass. Bankier! Stop the pass, scores! No goal, they wave it off. The official waves it off right away. Suchanek is down.
And in pain, he got bowled over by Bankier. Unintentionally, he's trying to pull a puck through his feet and find it. And he just ran out of real estate, but Suchanek down and in pain. Ostapchuk wheels it in here, and that's going to be a heck of a pull, but the poke check of Suchanek keeps it out. Bankier barrels into Suchanek, knocks the net off. The puck eventually does trickle over the line, but this would not count, as that's goalie interference on the goal. He wasn't helped in there by anyone but himself, but it's a greater concern for the Czechs right now is Suchanek. You can hear him right away grab. And you would hate to see this for a guy who's played every minute of every game.
Has to be helped to his feet here, and
doesn't look like he's going to be able to stay in this one.
The backup is Daniel Kral.
Is he going to try to stay?
Kral was on the roster for the December World Junior last year that was postponed, and Suchanek's going to try to stay out there for Czechia.
And Bankier almost pulling off a crazy move if he could just handle that one. But the left knee gets caught between the post and Bankier. And even though the puck did just creep across the line, referee right on the spot, waving it off.
So the shorthanded bid by Caden Bankier of the Kamloops Blazers turned away. And Suchanek, who faces him in the Western Hockey League, will stay in. Suchanek tied with Dominik Hasek for the most wins, second most wins for the Czechs, behind Thomas Duba, who was part of their back-to-back gold medal winning teams in 2001. So 41 seconds to go in the Czech power play. The faceoff comes outside the Czech blue line.
And if you're Canada, if you can kill the rest of this penalty off, you start thinking about getting as much to the net as quickly as possible. Test out that leg of Thomas Suchanek.
Marek Zalitsky is the assistant coach and the interpreter for Radim Rulik, the head coach, whose English is very limited.
There's got to be a question, could that possibly be goalie interference as well? Because the puck was poked off his stick before he crashed over top of Suchanek.
Kulik plays that back. And Juracek plays it ahead to Kulik. Kulik works in. Ostapchuk got a stick on that. Now picked up by Allen. Nolan Allen tied up. Bankier with a puck at his feet. Bankier to the line and gets out. A chance up for Ostapchuk. Gets in behind Juracek. Back Ostapchuk. Short-handed breakaway. Stopped in tight by Suchanek.
Guess that left leg worked just fine.
Wow. Quick healer. What a stop by Suchanek. Now a lead pass for Shapovalov. He comes in for it, but the play is called icing against Czechia.
Wow. You say you want to test him. Well, here you go. Make him go right to left and stretch that left leg out. Ostapchuk got the angle. He tried to sell the shot. And go backhand. Doesn't elevate. He's trying to beat him to the post. Oh, my goodness. There was room there. He had room between the foot and the post. He just tucked it a little too early back towards the center of the net. And a good save by Suchanek.
So the face-off now in the Czech zone with 4 seconds to go on the power play.
Eventful power play.
And off the draw. That gets right down to Suchanek. Wasn't done fairly. So Zahanic stops 2 shorthanded breakaways. Waugh gets a warning here. And the draw picked by Bedard with a quick shot. The horn sounded. There's an issue with the clock.
Connor Bedard had the puck on his stick in a shooting spot. And the horn went. I think the clock ran a second on the previous draw where there was a warning, so they wanted to get it back to 4 seconds.
Okay, so they reset that.
Be precise.
Off the draw, here is Bedard. Knocked back to Zellweger. Zellweger shoots. That flutters high and wide. So Mastro steps back on. 2 shots for Czechia on that power play. 2 short-handed breakaways for Canada. Remains a 1-0 game. Bouncing puck back down to the Mastro on the penalty box. Looks ahead to Waugh. Chips it back across for Stankov, and that's knocked away. Jakub Kos brings it back for Czechia. Shoots. Punched away by Milic. Knocked down by Menchik. Sharp angle shot goes off the pads of Milic and back to center ice. Played back down to the Canadian zone. Milic plays it back across to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger up for Stankoven. Through the middle for Waugh. Up for Bedard. That's knocked away. 4 Czechs converged on him. Now Brabinets brings it down. Brabinets works in on Del Mastro. Swings back around. Brabinets swings it back in deep. Hines goes after it. Picked up by Melas. Feeds that back at the point. Camera shoots. Edmonds gets a piece of that. Knocks it high off the glass. Waugh chops at it. Race point now. Bedard. He's got Stankoven with him. Puts it back in front. Stankoven in. Shoots. Hanek makes the stop. What a feed from Bedard. Now Bedard back with it. Dances out of the corner. Bedard drops it back. Quick shot there by Othman. That goes wide. And it skips away from Clark and back down. Clark with Melas closing on him. They collide in the corner. Sturz comes back in. Clark plays it back around. Off the bench comes Barcel. Knocked the head for Gunther. In comes Gunther on Sposiel. And Sposiel takes that away from Dylan Gunther. And that puck goes into the Canadian bench.
That is the 3rd breakaway. And Stankoven tries to test the left side as well. What a hook by Bedard. We've seen him do this before.
Yeah.
Using the toe of his stick and just not quite high enough by Stankoven. Those are 3 glorious opportunities missed by Canada in alone in the second period.
Right. Othman. Gunther back out there. Gunther reaching for it. Sposiel goes off the heel of Nahura. Chipped ahead now to Marcel with a long shot. And the save made by Milic. Korchinski to Othman. Quick pass ahead for Gunther. Dylan Gunther tied up by Marcel. Kicks it ahead for Wright. In comes Shane Wright. Works right in. Right to the backhand. Shane Wright on his 19th birthday makes it 2-0 Canada. The captain strikes with a clutch goal.
Waiting for this line to come alive 5-on-5, and what an individual effort by Shane Wright. Drags it inside. Sposiel, and I don't know where that backhand came from. 1-on-2, takes it inside and whips it. Suhanek even has a chance to move. That's the captain going to work for Canada.
His 4th of the tournament. So the 2 birthday boys, Othman and Wright, both have points. Othman's got an assist. And Wright a goal. Zellweger pulls that free. Now Gaucher leans on it. kicked that free. Gunther made a great play on that goal to tip the puck ahead. Zellweger, go stop shot. Up ahead for Dean. In comes Dean. Along with Gaucher and a stop shot. Dean works it free. Tied up by Nahacek. Dean stays on it. Held by Zellweger. Played back in. Shapovalov sweeps it out. Kulik goes right wide for Shala. Just missed Zellweger. And now picked up by Dean. Rick wide to go to Ostapchuk. Kept the line by Gaucher. In comes Gaucher. Shoots. That was blocked by Hamara. Dean plays it back in. Thomas Hamara. Ottawa third-round pick. Moves out ahead now. Hines. Good. Up for Reed. Schaefer plays it back in to Hanek. Throws it high off the glass. Rishavi. Taken away by Schaefer. Plays right back down to the Czech zone.
Happy birthday being serenaded down.
Hines shoots. And it's gloved by Suhanek.
So this is a complete goal effort that ends on Shane Wright's backhand, but right from one end to the other. This pass from Korchinski on his backhand, that starts to break out. And then, as you mentioned, Gunther protecting that puck and keeping it away from the board so that Shane Wright could skate into it and do something with it. Well, then after that, it's all Shane Wright. This is just brilliant individual skill. And the finish.
Began the year with the Seattle Kraken, went to Coachella Valley, their American League affiliate, on a rehab or on a conditioning stint. Scored 4 goals in 5 games there. Stankoven wins a face-off back to Allen. Played back in. Stankoven for Waugh. Waugh gives to Hotchek a bump, but now Melash has it back. Melash has it poked away by Zellweger. Allen. Sturz has it knocked away by Allen. And Zellweger races back. Nice spot check. Check goes back. Icing waved off. Bedard down to Stankoven. Picked off by Shapovalov. And a move ahead by Rishavi. Gets a step on Clark. Rishavi trying to center it. Clark broke that up. And Clark with one hand sweeps that to the corner. Fine. Plays it back to center for Waugh. Lays that back down to Czechia zone to Hanek out to play it. Kozil. Turned it over. Gunther in for Wright again. That shot was blocked by Spacek. And Wright gets it back. Wright digs it free. Centers it. Fires in. Shoots. That's blocked by Svozil. Right back on it. And Suhanek freezes that. On his birthday, Shane Wright sends the building into a frenzy. Celebrating the birthday in style for the Wright family.
Why do I love college hockey? That's why I love college hockey.
The average person can't push past the pain it takes to be great. This is the moment you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do whatever it takes?
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
There's Simon and Tanya Wright, the parents on the left, Maddie Wright, Shane Wright's sister. Well, winning a gold medal is a thrill anytime, but a chance to be the captain and do it on your birthday?
on home soil. Their family in the crowd. Doesn't get much better than that.
Here's Zellweger with it. Zellweger drops it back. Gunther's shot goes off a leg. Bounces back to Del Mastro. He tees it up. Walks in. Del Mastro shoots at the goalpost. Zellweger. Back down to right. Jiricek on it. Lifts it high in the air. Del Mastro goes back to pick it up. Del Mastro brings it back around for Zellweger, and Hoffman waits for it. Worked free by Wright. That point shot goes off a leg, and now a race for it. Jiricek goes back. He got slammed there by Hoffman. Hoffman leads for Wright. And now a line change starts for Canada. Gunther and Dean watching Tahacek closely. Tahacek for Melash, who sweeps that down to the Canadian zone, but that's icing called against Czechia. And Jiricek hot about that call.
Just frustrated. Melash missed the puck, but off this face-off, broken play. Del Mastro doesn't shoot it right away. He takes the next best look, and it was a good one. Off the shoulder and off the bar. And heavy going in front of that net against the Czechs. Menchik right. All the big defensemen make it tough to get where you want to go around the front of the Czech net.
Bedard, Stankoven, Waugh, the forward line for Canada, all returning players. 43 players in Canadian junior history have won back-to-back gold medals, including Jason Botterill, who won 3 in a row. The only player in the history of this tournament to win 3 consecutive gold medals. 8 more can join them here today. There's another one, Alexander Daigle, who won gold in '93 and then in '95. That was a lockout year. He came back from the NHL and won a gold medal with Canada. But 43 have won 2 consecutive for Canada.
The fact that the tournaments are 4 or 5 months apart helps. Yeah. Pretty exclusive club they're trying to join.
And this line all struck against the U.S. Waugh behind the net. Bedard came in on Alice Czech. And now Sturz plays it high in the air. Knocked down by Stankoven. Picked up by Bedard. Bounces back to center ice. Hines. Off Czech. Now it's back in the corner. Here's Melash with it. Jaroslav Melash plays for Providence College in the NCAA. The only college player for the Czechs. Now Waugh centers it. Bedard swept at that. And Waugh collides there with Hameruk. Sturz back on it. Brings it back out. Gabriel Sturz works it on Allen. Pivots back. Stankoven collides with him. Melash tied up by Hines. Melash pulls that free. Hines stays with him. Melash still on it, and Hines still there with him. 10:45 to go in the second. Dean pokes at it. Mahura comes in to try to move it, and Hines is all over that. Marcel plays it back around, held the line by Spacek. David Spacek shoots. Phillips makes the stop. Rebound. Fed back in front by Mahura. That's knocked away by Hines. And that puck goes over and out. It deflected. There'll be no penalty. Back here in Halifax, the crowds have been exceptional here and in Moncton. Dennis Williams talking about just how wherever you go in town, you go for a coffee, everyone's talking about this tournament. Halifax took it over late when Russia was stripped of the hosting rights in the spring. Halifax and Moncton agreed to take it on, and they have stuck the landing. I don't think they'll have to wait 20 years to get another one.
If I was making decisions, I would get them back here as soon as possible. It has been an amazing experience for the athletes to play in front of sellout crowds and feel the energy and feel the excitement. And it's not just Team Canada, although it is very much for Team Canada. But basically every game here in Halifax, Moncton as well, virtually sold out.
There were 5,000 people at the relegation game yesterday between Latvia and Austria.
People camped out overnight trying to find the last couple tickets available for this day and game.
A couple of holds were tossed back into the ticket pool, and people, as you said, camped out in the lobby to get the couple of dozen that became available. Svozil goes back. Watch that back in front for Shapovalov. And Shapovalov moves out. Plays it back across to Shala. And Shala tied up by Del Mastro. Here's Shala. Back for Svozil. Svozil winds it and shoots. That deflects high. Bounces down to Shapovalov. Throws it back in front. Bouncing. Puck. Shala can't reach it. Still pinballing around. And Zellweger brings it back for Canada. Olin Zellweger lifts that ahead, looking for a snap chuck, and icing called against Canada.
It was well done by Zellweger to keep his feet moving to get himself out of trouble. But the alley-oop play late in the shift, you run the risk of an icing.
Dennis Williams was joking with us before the tournament that he brought 4 Seattle Thunderbirds because his Everett team, for which Olin Zellweger plays Seattle 4 times. Well, it hasn't worked out as hoped. Seattle's still crushing.
Still winning those games?
Yeah. A snap chuck. And then poked away. Jiricek with a shot. Milic fights that off and knocks it up and out of play. Jiricek fires. Milic equal to the task. 2-0 Canada leads. 9:27 to go here in the second period.
Saturday. Atlantic Division foes get ready to face off when Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings face Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs. Hockey weekend begins Saturday, 7 Eastern on NHL Network.
That should hold it for now. What should we do?
I know what to do.
You do?
I'm going to cashnetusa.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
You're my hero.
Saving the day is easy with CashNet USA.
When you need money fast, be the hero. Go to cashnetusa.com to apply for the money you need now.
Get ice time with me, Max Domi, on NHL Network.
The NHL's best showcase their skills and provide insights on and off the ice.
Oreo, mint chocolate chip. How much time do we have here?
Ice Time, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
Pedro Pascal stars in the new HBO original series based on one of the most acclaimed video games of all time, The Last of Us. Streams Sunday, January 15th, only on Crave. 9:27 to go here in Halifax in the second period. Next year's World Junior Championship will be in Gothenburg, Sweden. Canada will host the year after that. And that site will be likely announced during the Women's Worlds in Brampton, Ontario in a couple of months. The U.S. the year after that. Come on, Vegas. Here's Gunther. Chops that back to center ice. Hoffman almost broke in there on Jiricek, racing back with Moravets. Plays that to Kos. Out to center ice to Menchie. Lifts it back in. That's brought by Milic. And he'll hang on.
Canada has done a much better job in the second period of having numbers back. In the first period, they were caught pressing forward, giving up the quick strike counterattacks to the Czechs. The second period, much better job with puck management up the ice, so they don't leave themselves in foot races and 2-on-1s going back the other way. Better insulation when they're making their plays in the offensive zone.
Owen Beck comes out to take the defensive zone face-off for Canada. Up against Brabenets. Beck, one of the top face-off men in the OHL. Wins that cleanly. Del Mastro up on the boards to Bankier. And Fantilli sweeps that down. Suhanik out to play it. Brabenets. That pass goes off a skate. Brought in by Czech. Alice Czech works it and shoots. And Milic makes the easy stop on that. You've talked about this throughout the tournament, that there's good and bad to the fact that the Czechs get so much production from their defense.
You love the fact that they can join the rush, that they have the ability to create points and goals, but when a lot of your offense runs through the defense, those are generally lower percentage chances, lower percentage shots. And so you'd like to have a better balance where the forwards were doing more closer to the net and not so reliant on long distance shots from the defense. Now, it's worked so far. Long term, that's not always the case.
Nathan Gaucher for the face-off against Marcel, who plays for Gatineau in the Quebec League. So they would know each other well. Gaucher plays for the Quebec Remparts. Off the draw, Mahura takes a whack at that. Zellweger ties up Hauser in the corner. And Korchinski moves out ahead to Dean. Dean up to a snap check and picked up now by Gaucher. Gaucher sweeps it back down to the Czech zone. Spacek goes back. He turns over to Dean. Zach Dean back for Zellweger. Has a look, feeds across to Dean. Dean in, shoots. That's off the stick of Sozil, up and out of play. Dean made a key play on a goal by Adam Fantilli last night on his birthday.
It was a good forecheck there by Dean to turn it over. And this third line has sort of evolved as the tournament has gone along. Joshua Waugh was actually on the line to start with Gaucher and Dean. Now it's Stapchuk, more of a checking line, straight line, energy line. And they've been effective at it. They don't seem to read well off each other. Get the puck down to the offensive zone, get an offensive zone face-off, and then you put out Bedard's line.
Stank over for the face-off against Shapovalov. Korchinski and Zellweger back at the point. The face-off won by Shapovalov. Moved by Del Mastro, races back and icing called. They're going to say that puck hit someone on the Canadian bench. So the Czechs will be allowed to change.
So Canada there was going for the quick switch for defense. They were jumping Del Mastro back on the ice as they're kind of, with the second change, they're going half pairs depending on who the Czechs put out.
And once again, Stankoven against Shapovalov. Off the draw, picked up by Jiricek. Jiricek finds Kulik, and Del Mastro sweeps that away. Now Jiricek steps into that shot and deflected wide. Shapovalov moves it back in at the point. Jiricek again. Feeds it down to Kulik. Kulik stumbles in front of Stankoven. Kulik back with it. Feeds that back. Jiricek, a hard shot that's blocked by Waugh. That's where Zellweger, and it hit Zellweger hard. Now lead pass to Stankoven racing in. Stankoven in the corner with it, and Zellweger limps back to the Canadian bench. He took that shot flush. Now it's center ice. Offman spreads ahead to Stankoven. Bedard argued he was slashed on the play. As he makes his way up, Shalom will turn it over to Offman. Hamara across to Jiricek, picked up at center ice by Hines. In comes Hines, lays it back around. Hunter goes back after it and takes the puck from Hamara. Back around to Wright. Shane Wright throws that back for Offman, picked off by Kulik. Plays it back to the Canadian line. 7 to go here in the second period. Kulik fires that down the Canadian zone. A race for it. Rishavi wins that battle for the puck. Shoots him a sharp angle. Hines shielded him off, and Milic made the stop. Jihacek bumped by Offman. Back to pick it up is Hines. Being washed by Rishavi. Hines brings that around, and Gunther chops it back down to the Czech line. Jihacek. Dallas check, and Melash move that in, but Clark flips it right back to center. Knocked down by Offman. Coast had to leave it as Clark gathers it back up. And the Peon Ontario native, one of 3 NHL players loaned to Team Canada, along with Wright and Gunther. Bankier knocks it free. Caden Bankier, sharp angle shot that deflected away. Here's Fantilli on it. Adam Fantilli banks it back down to reach Schaefer. He's knocked off the puck. Allen steps up on Sturz. Allen forces it free.
Wow, that is a tight hooking call on Allen. Interference. One of the Sturz.
So Canada to the power play. 5:49 to go here in the second period. Shane Wright, the latest Canadian goal, with a 2-0 lead.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
it's not just that they're the best. It's that for the first time ever, they're all here together to bring out your best. Whatever that means to you.
5, 6, 7, get it.
Canada up 2-0, headed to the power play as Jakub Brabenitz gets interference penalty there for, I guess, getting a hand, or maybe, oh, it was kicking the stick.
That's what
it was for. It's not for knocking out his hand, it's for kicking his stick after it was already on the ice. Now, we do that all the time. Accidentally on purpose, skate into the stick and draw it away. Good read and a tight call to kick it away from Schaefer.
Canada scored its first power play. Gunther got clipped with a high stick there. And it was Gunther who scored the power play goal. Zellweger with it. Gunther across to Bedard. Connor Bedard to hit the right, and that's offside at the Czech line.
Connor Bedard's exploits in this tournament have been well documented. Currently third all-time for single tournament point totals, behind only the two dynamic Swedes. And I guess he's not the only star of the family, as
that Tom has been posting selfies everywhere.
He has been a rock star himself up there on the concourse.
Connor Bedard calls his dad his hero. He's a logger. You see that live in North Vancouver. He leaves for work at 5 o'clock in the morning each day. Gunther works in. Drops it back to Hoffman. That rink wide pass broken up, and Shapovalov sends it down. Zellweger winds through center ice and drops it back to Connor Bedard. And he comes across the line, drops it off the right, feeds it back to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger has a look. Bedard and Gunther crisscross. In comes Bedard. Tips that back in front for Wright, and Wright holds. Feeds that back for Bedard. The pass misfires, and Zellweger back to pick it up. Czech's making a quick change as Zellweger turns. Feeds it back to Gunther. Dylan Gunther winds in. Back for Hoffman. At the line is Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard on Sturz. Bedard holds. Save it back in front. Off for a second chance. Two good saves by Suchanek. Puck loose in front. And Suchanek sends it down.
What a save by Suchanek on Hoffman.
Keeping the Czechs within shouting distance in this game. Bedard works it back in, but
a lot of guys out there. A lot of guys out there. That's an unforced error.
6 skaters on the ice for Canada. That'll be a penalty with 32 seconds to go on the power play.
Cannot do that.
That wasn't close.
Team Canada, too many players on the ice.
It was moments after they almost went up 3-0. Bedard winds in and puts it right on Hoffman's stick. He's so tight to the, he tries to chip it up, and he just gets the top inch of the pad.
And again,
they're so close to the net, to the goalie, it's hard to get it up, and
there's your 6.
And they thought Hoffman was changing, and Hoffman stayed.
So now with a 4-on-4 for 32 seconds, and then a Czech power play for 1:28.
Significant moment in the game right here. Swing for the Czechs to get back into it.
Stankoven wins the draw. Clark gathers it back up. Rink wide he goes to Hines, whose minutes and responsibility have climbed as this tournament has gone along. Czech back across to David Moravec, who will stay right here when the tournament ends and play for the Halifax Mooseheads. When a shot goes off the stick of Clark, up and out of play.
So, generally speaking, when you're the one jumping on the ice, it is your responsibility to make sure the guy you're changing for is coming off. And even though Hoffman was headed towards the bench, you either got to call on him, yell at him, tap him, whatever it is, to make sure he's off before you step out there. So 9 seconds from now, the Czechs will head to a power play late in the second. So 9 more seconds, they got to take one more guy off.
Great change by the Czech. Shala comes off, so it'll be Gaucher for the face-off against Shapovalov. Shapovalov's a second-round pick of the Vegas Golden Knights, plays for Saginaw in the OHL. He's had a good tournament.
He's very good on faceoffs as well, Shapovalov.
Gaucher wins that one. Here's Hines with it. With time, out to center ice, chipped in by Gaucher. Czechia 0 for 2 on the power play. Now on it for 1:28. Ostapchuk pokes out ahead. And Kulich picks it back up. Chance for the Czechs to crawl closer here late in the second period. Jiricek swings that back to Kulich. And Kulich to Shapovalov, fires into the corner. Gaucher knocked that away. Lies there with Marcel. That's knocked away. Hines has it. And feeds it back down. He needed a change.
His glove had gone into the Czech bench. He was trying to retrieve it from their bench.
And he got it back.
That is far nicer than I would have been.
Well, you might have given it back after you did something to it.
Yeah, throw it in the stands.
Shala. 45 seconds to go on the power play. Drops it back to Kulich. Yuri Kulich, the overtime hero for the Czechs in their semifinal win. Drops it back. Shapovalov. Disposal a shot. Goes off the leg of Del Mastro. Shapovalov. Back for Shala. Shala. Back for Svozil. Svozil for Kulich. Kulich crisscrossing with Svozil. Kulich. He shoots with a left high. Svozil. Tied up there by Waugh. Joshua Waugh kicks out. Brings it back up to center ice. Svozil. Rink wide for Shala. That was offside. Del Mastro has time and fires it down. No shots for Czechia on an abbreviated power play. Still a 2-0 lead. Melash fires it down. Milic leaves that there for Zellweger. Up on the boards to Wright. Shane Wright steps that pass out to Fantilli in stride on Svozil. Fantilli moves in. Backhand shot. Stopped by Suhadik. Now Wright centers it. Knocked down by Melash. Took that away from Gunther, who was alone in front. And Fantilli just missed Melash there.
Wisely pulled up there. The angle was a little bit off, not taking a penalty.
Back down to the Canadian zone. Milic plays it across to Clark. Grant Clark winds out. That skips off the board strangely behind the Czech goal. And Clark hit on the forecheck to knock his man off the puck. Picked up by Fantilli. Sweeps that back in deep. He'll head off on a change. On comes the Stankoven line. Alice Czech winds out for Czechia. And now Menchik moves in, but the play's offside at the Canadian line.
Canada gets the kill. Fantilli's in there to serve a bench minor. So he jumps out. He's flying up the ice. And you know, as a defenseman, you're in a tough spot when you're skating the same direction because your stick positioning is all off. And Fantilli almost scores a spectacular goal. His game has gotten better and better. Very quietly has a nice little offensive tournament of 5 points in 6 games.
And, you know, you see what Bedard has done, and you forget how hard it is for a 17-year-old or a draft-eligible player to make an impact here. Fantilli is 18. He's a late 2004-born player, but draft-eligible players don't often make a big impact in this tournament. There have been examples, and here's one of them. Bedard works in. In comes Bedard. Connor Bedard with a step. Drops it back in front. Goes back to Hines. A wrist shot. Suhadik fights that off. And a crease violation against Joshua Waugh will send the faceoff back outside. We have not seen much of that in this tournament.
I can't remember one here in Halifax where it's a crease violation, not goaltender interference, but if you're in the blue paint, they can blow it dead.
To take position.
And I guess the left foot just inside the crease.
It's such a good rule because we don't see it very often. Players are aware of it.
You stay away from the crease so you're not bumping the goaltenders quite as often. Less goal interference, less confusion.
Off the face-off, picked up by Kulich. Kulich works in and shoots. Kulich knocks that away. Final minute now of the second period. Clark looks ahead to Ostapchuk. Knocked by Svozil and a bouncing shot. Stopped by Milic and Kulich. Being tied up there by Clark.
An important 51 seconds for Canada. They've been really solid in the second period, not giving up too much. You want to make sure that you finish solid.
Czechia looking for a first gold medal since 2001. They went back-to-back in 2000, 2001. In 01, it was Thomas Buchanitz, Martin Erat, Adam Verbata, some of the names on that team. They were the kings of the hockey world back then. the reigning Olympic, World Senior, and Junior Men's champion. Ostapchuk winds in. Ostapchuk was the greatest goaltender in the world, and arguably the best forward in the world in Yager at that time. Kulik works in. Kulik. Knocked off stride there by Del Mastro. Picked out now by Shapovalov. Spins back in the corner. Shapovalov throws that back to Svozil. Svozil looking for a backdoor pass up for Spacek. That was broken up by Ostapchuk. Del Mastro tied up behind the goal. Leaves it there for Dean. Dean had the wall sealed by Shala. That's knocked away by Clark. Shapovalov plays it back to Czech. Czech shoots. Village saves. Rebound loose, but Dean dives and knocks it away. And time expires. Canada will go to the dressing room with a 2-0 lead after 40 minutes of play. It's the gold medal game of the 20.
With Acorns, every time you spend, you invest. Buying a hot dog? That's investing.
12 players from the 2021 under-18 team, the team that won gold. And there's Tyson Hines, 19-year-old from Gatineau, Quebec. He's played more minutes than any skater on either team. 16 minutes through 2 periods.
So the trust of the coach is really rising for Tyson Hines.
Third-round pick of the Anaheim Ducks in 2021. So Canada with a 2-0 lead, heading into the third period, trying to become the first country to win back-to-back World Junior Championships since Canada did it in 2009. That was the end of a 5-in-a-row run, capped off in Ottawa. Zellweger ranges back. Del Mastro with it. The Czechs have not been without chances in this game, but that's chopped down by Hoffman. Icing call against Canada.
And we saw in the semifinals, the Czechs are not going to go away. They played that one right out to the very last minute before they were able to tie it, then win it in overtime. And as you mentioned, they have had their share of looks as well.
Radim Rulik is an old school head coach, but he's on the team group chat, which surprised some people. Shapovalov against right for the face-off. Controlled by the Czech. Kulik to Hacek. Plays that back. Jiricek moves in. Long shot tipped wide off and lost his stick. Quickly gets another from the bench. Moved ahead by Wright. And Gunther back with it. Zellweger to Gunther. Gunther up for Wright. In comes Shane Wright. Shoots! That's how it gleams to make that stop. Shapovalov for Jiricek. Flips out ahead. Knocked down by Hines. Lead pass to Waugh. In comes Josh Waugh. Shoots! And Suhanek makes the stop on that.
Well, good plays off the rush for Canada. Attacking with speed when you can. First little ladder play. Shane Wright just sliding away. Fresh ice not helping him. Trying to go short side, but Suhanek, who looks fine physically after being crashed into in the second period, will make that save in the next one on Joshua Waugh as well.
Waugh jawing with Spacek there. They both play in the Quebec League for the same team. Sherbrooke, leading contender to win the Quebec League this year. Here's Melash with it. Stripped by Hines. Hines back on it. Waugh puts it back to center ice. Hines and Zellweger, both draft picks of the Ducks. Both young defensemen will play a prominent role in their future. Hines up for Stankoven to Bedard. Bedard to Clark. Pokes that back ahead. Bedard kept it onside. Now Melash brings it in. In comes Melash on Zellweger. And Clark comes back to take that away. Clark pokes at it. Melash tried to feed that back. Abbonati. To the point he goes. Moravec. Picked up by Stankoven. Puts it up to Bedard. Connor Bedard up for Stankoven. Drops it back to Bedard. Works in, and Bedard has it stripped away. Zellweger walks right in, roll up his stick. Here's Bedard. Bedard sends it back in front. Dean turned away. Throws it back there. Suhanek made a stop. Dean throws it back off the pads of Suhanek. And is cleared back down the ice. Dean swats at it. The play's on side of the Czech line. Jacob Post to Hamara, in for reshoving. And Nolan Allen ranges back on him. Zellweger gathers it back up. A tournament all-star in August when Canada won the gold medal. Now Dean had it knocked away. And it's poked at by Robin Shapashek, who's barely played in this game. We've seen this before from the Czechs, where someone doesn't play much in the first 2 periods and suddenly emerges in the 3rd period.
Canada almost getting that insurance 3rd marker. The patience here for Connor Bedard. Everyone's waiting for him to line up this wrister. And of course, 3 different Czech defenders trying to block the shot. He slides it right down to Dean. Just got to elevate above the pad. Suhanek stretches out to take the bottom of the net out of the way, but top of the net was available.
By the way, that was Sapaszek's first shift of the game. He warmed up 2 hours ago.
Maybe they told him between periods, be ready to go, and you try to get warmed up again.
Shapovalov in the corner for Kulik. Back for Alice. Check with a shot. That was saved. Puck loose in front. Shot with a chance. He ripped it wide. Knocked down by Czech. That was right on the line. Zellweger chops at it. At the line, Czech can't hold it. Plays it back across to Spacek. Lead pass to Shapovalov. His helmet's unbuckled. Now Shala with a shot ripped that high again. Bankier. Hayden Bankier. Up for Reed Schaefer. The Edmonton Oilers first rounder goes in on Spacek, who's careful not to interfere with him. Check. Pivots back as Schaefer steps into him. Spacek. Lined up by Fantilli, who just missed. Melage. Lead pass for Sturz. And Del Mastro goes ahead to Schaefer. Up with Fantilli. Svozil being forced by Schaefer. A shot angle shot by Bankier goes wide. Frank Clark back with it. Holds the line for Canada. Feeds that down to Schaefer. Reed Schaefer at the side of the goal. Plays that back to Del Mastro. Ethan Del Mastro. And the pass picked off by Bravo. That's been out from a sharp angle. Schaefer the shot. And Suhanek made the save as Bankier was poking at the rebound.
Edward Shala, a couple really good opportunities. This puck just rides around the pile of people. Shala spots it one-on-one with Milic. I think he's not helped by the rolling puck. He sails it wide. As the youngster frustrated, his best look of the night.
We're going to see him again. He's a top-rated prospect for the upcoming draft. He was terrific in Red Deer this past summer, the Hlinka Gretzky under-18 tournament. He had 9 points in 6 games there for the Czechs. Likely to be a top 10 pick in the upcoming NHL draft.
Got 5 points in 6 games in this tournament. The draft-eligible player, that is...
Playing on the top line for Czechia.
Very good.
Right off the face-off, one that across, but Coast picks it up. Broken up by Gunther. Now move back down to the Canadian zone as Korchinski goes back. Kevin Korchinski. Turned back in the corner. Korchinski, the Saskatoon native, back around for Clark. Brent Clark winds his way out. Gains center ice and slaps that back down to the Czech zone. Suhanek out to play it. Taps out across to Jiricek. He lost the puck to right. Right spins and shoots. That was deflected away by Othman. And a lead pass looking for Rishavi. That was broken up by Zellweger.
They're mindful of the Czechs trying to slip out of their own end, blowing the zone.
And now Hauser is deep at the Canadian blue line. Being carefully watched by Del Mastro. At home, you can hear it. Here, we can feel it. Here's Spacek back at the point. Spacek shoots, that's it wide. As once again, Sapaszek got a stick on that. And now Hauser moved that up, and the puck was played with a high stick, and the face-off will come outside.
So the Czechs still looking to get on the board in this game, but it's not like they've had a hard time scoring in this tournament. They have scored the second most goals ever by Czechia. And they need at least a couple more to try to push this one to extra time. But they have quick strike, explosive players. They don't need to grind you down in the offensive zone. They can just take it off the rush and make something happen.
Czechs won a bronze medal at the World Championship last spring. They brought back 19 players for this tournament who had played in the World Junior before. 16 of them played in the fall. Another 3 were on the roster in December and didn't play in August. So very experienced team. Tahacek. And they'll win a medal regardless for the first time since 2005, ending a 17-year drought in this tournament. Gaucher plays it around, picked off by Kulik. Back at the point, Spacek. Court to Tahacek. Works in on Dean. Back is Spacek being shadowed by a Stapchuk. And a Stapchuk pokes that back down the Czech zone. Suhanek way out to play it. Over the head of Tihacek, and I think they might have ticked his helmet.
Not quite over all his head. Got a piece of him.
Now Tihacek juggles it, picked off by Fantilli. Here's Fantilli with it. Adam Fantilli races back to center ice, swings it across the back, but the play's offside at the Czech line, and now Hines is into it with Shapovalov.
Discipline is key. Be talking about a lot on the Canadian bench. Don't get sucked into pushing and shoving. Put yourself at risk for a cheap penalty or perhaps even 4-on-4.
Steve Yzerman, the Detroit Red Wings GM, talked to the Canadian players about the importance of keeping your cool and riding out the adversity, because there will be some. Back at the point, Svozil plays it back down to Providence. And now Providence loose in the corner. Feeds that back. Alice Czech shoots. That was deflected away by Clark. Fantilli. Backhand that ahead. Bankier plays it back out. Hayden Bankier. Have that bump back, but it's picked up by Hines. Lead pass for Fantilli. Chips that back down to the Czech zone. Chopped back at the side of the goal by Beck. And here's Svozil back with it. Leaves it there for Thomas Hammerl. Ahead for Jiricek. Greek wide pass and a broken stick at center ice. And now Milic. Back across to Allen. Austin, nifty chip there to right. Pokes it into Gunther. Canada breaks in 3-on-2. Gunther has a look. Drops it back, but it's picked off by Marcel. Marcel. Off the foot of Zellweger. And back to pick it up is Allen. Allen along the boards to Othman. That's not cleared up, and now it's moved by Jiricek by right. Menchik is passed across, intercepted by Gunther. Throws it back through, picked up by Joshua Waugh. In comes Waugh with it. Waugh on Hammer. Spins back, Waugh stays on it. Two Czechs converge on him, now Gunther after it. And Shapacek plays it back down to the Canadian zone. Picked up by Stankoven. Lead pass to Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard. Pivots back in front. That pass didn't reach Stankoven. Held by Waugh, back for Clark. Clark feeds it back across. Stankoven with it. Logan Stankoven drops it off to Waugh. Shoots, and Bedard got a stick on that, but it tipped wide. Here's Waugh back with it. Waugh in the high slot. Wrist that back in the corner to Stankoven. Bouncing puck in behind the goal. Bedard comes in to help out. Now Waugh takes a swat at it, but Clark has it back in center. Puts it back down. Suhanek with a bouncing puck, steers that away. And Spacek back to pick it up. Bedard stays up to Spacek. Takes him down. There's no penalty. Bedard had a nervous look back at the official. 8 gone here in the third period. Dean on it. Bouncing puck. Tihacek reaches for it. Dean for Zellweger. And again, the Canadians have trouble clearing it out. A Stapchuk with it. Plays it back across to Allen. His pass broken up. And at the line, they can't hold it, as Czech has to play it back. Shapovalov's pass picked off by Dean. And the native of Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, plays it ahead. He's got a huge cheering section here in Halifax. Here's the Tihacek with it. Up ahead for Alice Czech. Steps around Bankier. Czech works in. He's poke check. And now Clark with it. Played back down the Czechia zone as Svozil goes back. Misses icing called against the Czechs. So the Canadian players have had input from lots of Team Canada alumni. Steve Yzerman played in the tournament back in 1983.
Can you imagine what it'd be like to be in the dressing room and having Steve Yzerman come down and talk to you about the moment and the experience? Little nuggets of wisdom. One of the best leaders out there.
Wayne Gretzky sent a text message to Connor Bedard saying, I saw Guy Lafleur, Mario Lemieux, and Connor McDavid play. He was good or better than as all of them. How would that feel?
I can't even imagine.
Bedard tried to stay cool, but I think he broke into a little grin. His right sharp angle shot was stopped by Suhanek, rather. Now, here is Hoffman. Back in deep to Gunther. Dylan Gunther shoots him a sharp angle. And Suhanek got the blocker down on that. Right battles for it. Right. Centers it. Gunther with a pick shot. Suhanek makes the save up high. Here's Hoffman. Spins and fires. That was blocked. Back at the point, Del Mastro. Ethan Del Mastro. Hard pass down to Hoffman. Hoffman with it. Throws it back in front. Deflected puck was just wide. Suhanek going to stick to the mask. Wright was taken down. Rink wide pass now to Sturz. Gabriel Sturz moves in. Sturz tied up there by Clark in the corner. Del Mastro trying to dig that free. Midway point of the third period. Canada still up by 2. Poked away by Wright. He's got a step and Gunther with him. In comes Shane Wright. Walks it in, shoots. Suhanek was saved. The rebound skipped away from Gunther. Hamara back the other way. End of a long shift for those Canadians. Hamara walks in. He shoots. Village punches that away. Hamara plays it back in for Rishavi. Hine stepped in front of him. Picked up by Watt. He's got Stankoven and Bedard with him. Rink wide pass to Stankoven. He was tied up, has to regroup, now flips it back in. Chihacha. Pass broken up by Bedard. And loose at the Canadian line. Zellweger back with it. Long lead pass chipped in by Stankoven. He and Alice Czech collide. And Chihacha back to pick it up. Chihacha. For Sapacek. Sapacek works it on Allen. Hauser lays that back at the point. It skipped away from Jiricek, who's got Dean bearing in on him, and Jiricek going to swing that back down to the Czech zone. Moravec plays it back across for Jiricek, who's played a ton the last few days. Picked up by Dean with a shot, and Suhanek knocks that away. At the line, knocked down by Dean, who plays it right back in deep. Gaucher in the corner with it. Gaucher down to Ostapchuk. Zach Ostapchuk. This big heavy line goes to work. Del Mastro back at the point. Plays it right back down to Gaucher. Gaucher works it free from Jiricek. Plays it back around to Fantilli. And Del Mastro right back down below the goal line. Ostapchuk back around to Gaucher. Gaucher feeds that back to Allen. Allen's wrist shot flutters wide. Czechs bottled up here. Jiricek finally moves out ahead.
Back pressure by Fantilli.
And Jiricek in his pocket pick. Moravec's back with it. Tankier steps into him. Beck comes in to help out. And the puck a long way from where the Czechs want it to be. Now they break it out. Shapovalov works through center ice. Skozo kicked that ahead. Zellweger knocks it down. Held by Shapovalov. Feeds it back across. Shot scores! Kulich puts it in. And the Czechs are on the board. Down 2-1.
All that good work in the offensive zone.
Now, will Canada challenge him for offside?
It was the reverse kick by Swozil, where he kind of got it on his heel and dragged it in with him. Here's the little flip play. And that's going to be hard to tell with the puck in the air.
Right.
And Zellweger on his wrong side, fans on the puck, and then Kulich get that one in the end. Seam pass, Shala, who's been dangerous in the third period, rings the post, but Kulich wins the race to the loose puck. The Canadian bench trying to find a look at the entry. Doesn't look like anything's going to come of that, so buckle up.
So with 7.5 to go, it's a 2-1 game. So much of the play was in the Czech end. But one quick strike, a goal post, and a tap in for Kulich, who has his 7th of the tournament. Now fed back across to Hajek. He shoots and it's a leg. Off end to skip away. Spacek shoots. That's blocked. Rebound loose in front. Bounces back to Spacek. He fires. It bounces back to Melash. Stachek with it. Canada can't clear it out. Spot check. Fires. Bounces back in front. Knocked down by Hines. And Wright puts it back down to the Czech zone as Stachek goes back. That's icing called against Canada.
So it'll be a test of the boys of Canada right now. Trying to defend a 1-goal lead, 7 minutes away. Can they make enough plays to get out of their own end to get through the rest of this game? There'll be lots of this, blocks. But it's when you get the puck on your stick, what do you do with it?
That shook up Tyson Hines, but a hit him in the hand. Milic had stopped 50 straight shots prior to that. Off the face-off, here's Clark with it. Tied up by Rishavi. Jiricek holds. He'll play a ton now. Del Mastro brings it back around, knocked down by Clark. Up ahead for Offen. That was knocked down by Hamara. Clark back with it. Again on his backhand. Can't clear it out. Then back in front. Hamara. Score! Goes for the tip. And the game is tied. Jakob Kos with the tip. And the Czechs have stunned Canada.
Just like that, in short order, the Czechs tie the game. Another play on your backhand. Brant Clark gets pinned along the boards. He gets it right back. Puck gets turned over, and it's the tip that's going to go to the corner, and hits Del Mastro in the leg. Look how wide this tip is going. And it's going to hit the corner boards. It hits Del Mastro in the knee and gets behind Milic.
Goals 54 seconds apart. Have tied this game at 2 with 6:36 to go in the third period. Now Kulik brings it back for Czechia. Shoots. That goes wide. Picked up by Zellweger. Wow, plays it around to Stankoven. Logan Stankoven works it out along with Bedard. Broken up by Kulik. And Shala plays it across to Kulik. Breaks that down. Gloved down by Milic. Picked up by Allen. Allen back around to Stankoven. In comes Zellweger. Feeds that back down to the Czech zone. Spacek back to pick it up. Spacek. Lead pass to Melash. And Melash works in. Gets a step and shoots. He fired that wide. And Moravets can't hold the line. Gaucher stepped into him. Now Dean back after it. Sturz brings it back out. Sturz back across to Melash. In the round robin, Czechia scored its first ever win against Canada on Canadian ice. Now trying to do it again. Ostapchuk. He was tied up. Kicks at that. Providence with it. Lifts it back down to Hines. Is back up for Canada. Good. Hines plays it back in. Ostapchuk after it. And Hamara has it back for the Czechs. Bank back to center ice. Del Mastro. Hoffman chips at that. Hoffman. Up for Ostapchuk. And Ostapchuk feeds that back down to the Czech zone. Heads off on a chain. Hoffman up there with Wright and Gunther. And center ice is batted down by Clark. Wright pokes at that. It's picked up now by Zellweger to Clark. Chip back in by Wright. Alice check. Moves out ahead. Turned over. Gunther a quick shot. And the save made by Suhanik. 4:40 to go here in the third period. And the Czechs have tied it up.
That should hold it for now. What should we do?
I know what to do.
You do?
I'm going to cashnetusa.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
You're my hero.
Saving the day is easy with CashNet USA.
When you need money fast, be the hero. Go to cashnetusa.com to apply for the money you need now.
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey.
I'm Jake Gensel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Johnny Gaudreau, and I played college hockey.
a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
Don't miss Dwayne Johnson in the action blockbuster critics call a blast with jaw-dropping visuals. Black Adam, now streaming on Crave. So 4:40 to go here, regulation. If they're tied after 60, there'll be a full flood and overtime until someone scores 3-on-3. There's no shootout in the gold medal game.
Here during the break, the Czech bench just alive with chatter and emotion and kind of trying to regain what they just lost.
Crowd trying to will Canada to another goal here. Waugh knocks that down. Moved up by Spacek to Kulik. That pass broken up by Bedard. Lead pass to Stankovic. Back at center ice, Bedard whacks at it. It's poked back down to the Canadian zone. Zellweger plays it back around. Bedard chips it down. Back goes Spacek, being trailed there by Waugh. Plays it back around. Canada gets fresh D on the ice. Here's Del Mastro with it. Ethan Del Mastro. Tyson Hines back for Del Mastro. Chipped back down by Dean. And to Hammock. For Alice Czech. Back around Spacek. Looks ahead for Sturz. He's got a step on Del Mastro. Sturz spots. See the backhand shot. Step by Village. He hangs on to that.
And a speedy Sturz leaking out. Trying to turn Del Mastro. And has a half step. Del Mastro does well to lead with the stick. Keep him to the outside. Don't let him tack under the triangle. And Miller's trusty he'll make the first save.
Friends don't let friends be goalie parents. That's Stephanie and Mark Milic. And they're not the only ones biting their nails now. Off the draw. Puck goes back to center ice. 3:45 to go in regulation. Kamara sends it down. Milic to Del Mastro. Back at the point, Jiricek across the hammer. A shoot. That was blocked in front by Ghost. Another shot that deflects wide. Robinet's back on it. And Czechs apply the pressure here. Melash tied up by Zellweger. Feeds that back. It's picked up by Ostapchuk. 2-on-2 with Dean. Zach Ostapchuk works it across the line. Pokes out ahead. Ostapchuk looks back for Dean. Jiricek for Robinets. And back to center ice. Took a funny bounce on Allen. Coast with it. Spins that back down as both teams will change. Lead pass for Gunther that missed, and icing called against Canada.
Gunther, who opened the scoring, trying to get sprung from the bench. Grant Clark just led him by a hair. So you go back to the defensive zone. Face-off coverage has not been flawless in this tournament. Good news, he got Shane Wright out there on his strong side.
Against Marcel. Off the draw, controlled by the Czechs. Skozol, a shot that was blocked. Right to Gunther. Rink wide. Wright picks it up, moving in with Hoffman. Wright drops. Hoffman shoots. And Suhanik makes the glove save and hangs on. 2:49 to go in regulation. Back in a moment.
NHL Network Showcase Saturday.
The high-powered Blue Shirts cross the Hudson for an afternoon puck drop with their rivals.
One hands by Jack Hughes.
Rangers, Devils, Saturday 1 Eastern on NHL Network Showcase.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. Because when you're not looking, I go to work. Strength isn't a given. It's grown. It's earned and tested. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
Does your bank invest for you? I bet it doesn't. Acorn's checking does. It's banking for the growth-minded. Acorns, Grow your own.
Czechs have found a way to rally back and tie this game at 2, in large part because the performance of Thomas Suchanek, after he had been crashed into. All of these saves were after the trainer came and saw him, and there was legitimate discussion about whether he would continue this game. He said he was fine. Clearly he's fine. He has been spot on all tournament long.
Canada trying to win its first gold medal in 4.5 months. The Czechs in 22 years. Shapovalov wins it back. None of these Czech players were born then. This tournament for players born in 2003 or later. Zellweger. Up ahead to Hoffman. And Brennan Hoffman fires that back down. Suchanek knocks that away right after it. Shane Wright plays it back in deep. Czech gets there. Alice Czech being harassed there by Hoffman. Bumps it along the boards. Gunther put it back in, and Shapovalov's got it back for Czechia. More spot check. Canada changing. That pass on the feet of Shala. Move back to center. Stankoven after it. Logan Stankoven drops it back. Waugh brings it in, but the play's offside at the Czechia line.
And there's been a noticeable difference on every whistle. The entire bench for the Czechs are up and banging the boards and making all kinds of noise, and Canada still a little bit stunned. They were really in control of this game for the first 10 minutes of the third period.
Well, we saw this in the game between Canada and Finland in August, right? Finns came back to tie it, where Kent Johnson scored the golden goal after the miraculous save by Mason McTavish on the goal line. One of the most electrifying moments in World Junior history. Are we in for another? Off the draw, Stankoven pokes at it. Providence plays it backward to Hatchak. Unicek to the Hatchak. Picked up by Providence. Providence works in, sweeps that back in deep. Inside 2 to go here in the third period. Stankoven trying to pick that free. He got knocked down by Melash. But Stankoven wins the battle for the puck. Sturz tied up by Del Mastro. Now Sturz stands on the shot. Picked up by Bedard. Out with Stankoven. In comes Connor Bedard. On to Hatchak. And Bedard taken out in the corner. At the point, jumping up his hinds to keep it alive. Rishavi kicked it free and moving it back to center. Waugh back to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger. Game center and fires that back down. Suchanek gets a stick on it. Skozil back. Gaucher steps into him. Marcel banks that back. Glove down by Bedard with a long wrist shot. That floated high. Coase had it knocked down by Zellweger. Brought back by Marcel. Marcel. Tied up by Hines. Now played back instead of the linesman fell. Skozil had to pick the puck through that. Shapovalov moves in. Backheads it back to the Canadian zone inside a minute to go in regulation. Zellweger, lead pass for Dean. That misfired. And icing called against Canada. 45 seconds to go in the third period.
So much attention on Connor Bedard. Every time he touches the puck, you feel the crowd rise, but the defense for the Czechs have done a really good job keeping to the outside. Good pivot and finish by Hatchak. They just try to limit the amount of time he can touch the puck and be physical whenever you can.
Face off in the Canadian zone. Gaucher against Shapovalov and scrambled. And Zellweger brings it around to Ostapchuk. Chops at that puck. He's standing on it. Picked up by Shapovalov. For Shala. Bouncing puck in the corner. Zellweger after it. Shala throws it back for Cooler. Backhand shot up by Newman. One up down by Dean. Zach Dean pokes it ahead. Spot check back with it for Czechia. Gaucher makes his way off the ice. In comes Shala. Shala works in. Poke check by Dean. Shala sends it back in front. Milic is down. The puck is loose. Shapovalov found his ball. Clock sends it out. A mad pile up in the Canadian crease. The Czechs came that close to winning it. Time winding down. Clark around the Del Mastro. For the second straight year, the gold medal game will go to overtime.
Well, the Canadians know that they have to go to the Dressing room, Jesse, up this wild scramble. Milic kicks it back out. Kulik gets a stick on it, has the Shapovalov trying to will it over the line. And everyone down in front desperately trying to get a piece of the puck. That one right there by Shapovalov, so close to finding its way over Thomas Milic, but he and Canada keep it out and get the game to overtime.
Golden goal time coming up in Halifax.
Blenders brings the beach to the mountain.
5.5 minutes in the game. Played 30 in the quarterfinal against Slovakia. Zellweger, Stankoven, Bedard out there for Canada. Shapovalov, Sturz, and Jiricek for Czechia. 7th time Canada's been to overtime in a gold medal game of the World Junior. In comes Connor Bedard. Bedard slides that back to Zellweger. The 11th time overall the gold medal game has gone to OT. Several of those wound up in shootouts, including one by the Czechs in 2000. In comes Bedard, walks right in. Bedard shoots. Samsonov makes the stop as Stankoven gave him a flyby.
It's good patience on the regroup for Canada. Bedard gets attacking Shapovalov. That's who you want. Switches it off, and every shot's a good shot at this point in the game. And Bedard, who's been, by his standard, quiet this evening, will enjoy the open ice. Face-offs so pivotal at 3-on-3.
Stankoven against Shapovalov. Stankoven. Bedard wins it back to Zellweger. Zellweger back across to Stankoven. Canada regroups. Roland Zellweger for Connor Bedard. Gets a step on Shapovalov. Works back in. Bedard swings back. Being shadowed by Shapovalov. Works back in and pivots back in the corner. Bedard to Stankoven. Logan Stankoven in, shoots. And Suhanek got a blocker on that to knock it away. Bedard swings back with Shallop trailing on him. And Bedard with a head of steam through center ice. Pivots back. Trying to throw that back. It was picked up by Kulik. Up ahead for Shallop. And Verschella moves in. Can't get a wraparound try away. Shallop back on it. Poke check there by Shane Wright, who comes on for Canada. Bedard needs off. Rink wide they go for Kulik, and Bedard gets off. Gunther comes on. Right on a stick knock out of his hand. Kulik works in. In comes Kulik. Drops it back to Shallop. Back for Kulik. Kulik in the corner, being bumped there by Gunther. Feeds that back for Shallop, who retreats to center ice. Czechs scored their overtime winner against Sweden very late in what was a 10-minute overtime period. There's no time limit here tonight. Robinette. Poke check at center ice by Zellweger. Moves ahead with Joshua Wall. In comes Zellweger. Winding in. Zellweger can't get a shot away. Rolls back in the corner. Zellweger. Feeds that back to Gunther. To Zellweger, and Gunther once again regroups back in the Canadian zone. Slips it ahead to Wall. Joshua Wall taken down by Melash. In comes Zellweger. Works in. Zellweger knocked off stride. Chance now for Czechia. Stozol is pass blocked by Zellweger. And bring it back up is Jakub Robinette. Swings that back to Jakub Kos, who tied the game with less than 7 to go in the third period. Jiricek winds in on Clark. Jiricek works in. Clark collides with him. Now loose. Stankoven trying to poke that freight. Clark back on it. He was tied up.
We got two here. Couldn't get it up fast enough.
Clark. Long lead pass at center ice. Missed Bedard. Icing waved off. Stankoven slides that back to Clark. Bedard directing traffic as he winds back in the defensive zone. Bedard around Reshevik. In on Shapovalov. Bedard back with it. Peels back in the corner. Tied up. Lost the puck there to spot check for Shapovalov. Bedard goes after him. Shapovalov spins back. And Bedard, Stankoven, and Zellweger head off. Hines comes on along with Wright and Fantilli. Spacek stays on for Czechia. In comes David Spacek. Spins that back across for Shapovalov. And Shapovalov. He moves back to center ice. Sturz. Poke check by Fantilli. Sturz moves away from him. Fantilli stays with him. And Fantilli rides him off the puck carefully as Hines picks it back up. Hines for Wright. Shane Wright. Long cross ice pass. Picked up by Fantilli. In comes Fantilli. Dodgek took that away. Up the ice they go. Kulik. As Sturz peels off on a change. Kulik works in. Shoots, and a save made by Milic. Wright flips it ahead. For Gunther. One-on-one with the hat check. Wright coming in as well. Gunther works in. Gunther taking a shot away. Back comes Schala back the other way with Kulik. Edward Schala spins back at the Czechs change D. And the pass out of the reach of Svozil. Gunther almost picked off that pass. Now Schala. Up in for Brabenets. On Zellweger. Brabenets spins back. And Zellweger stays with him. Brabenets plays for Charlottetown in the Quebec League. He spins back. And both teams will change again. On come Bedard and Stankoven. Brabenets works back once again. It was a very cautious overtime between Czechia and Sweden in the semifinal. Melas works it back across the coast. And shoots. That was deflected away by Clark. Who's on the side of the goal. Poked out by Melas. Clark, Lippert. Bedard, a bad bounce off the stanchion. Melas works it. Poke check there by Hines. Melas feeds it back for Jiricek. Jiricek. Poke check there by Bedard. And Bedard gets it back up. Looks ahead, spins back as Canada changes, and Zellweger comes on. Owen Zellweger with Stankoven and Bedard. Zellweger shoots, and Savanic makes the save on that. Here's Jiricek back with it. Bedard off, on comes Fantilli. That bad bounce off the stage and had the arena gasping.
Would have been a clean 2-on-1 for Canada. Turned into a scoring chance for the Czechs.
Shapovalov in across the line for Sturz. Shapovalov gets it back. That drop pass broken up by Del Mastro. Ethan Del Mastro peels back with it. Fantilli had flown ahead, but Del Mastro had the puck roll off his stick. Through the middle, Fantilli. In on to Hatchak. Adam Fantilli. Second try, rolls down to Haddock. The save, bouncing puck on the side of the goal. Knocked down and brought out by Sturz.
So Hatchak's been isolated one-on-one about 4 times, and he's handled them all really well in the overtime.
6 minutes of the first overtime period. To Hatchak. Up for Kulik. In on Clark with Schala. Poked away by Clark. Lead pass to Gunther. He's got Wall with it. Joshua Wall walks in. Gunther with 10 minutes. Dylan Gunther. Golden goal in Halifax. Canada's won back-to-back World Junior gold medals. Dylan Gunther took a heck of a time to score his first even-strength goal of the World Junior Championship. It's the one everyone will remember. Dylan Gunther joins the list of 3 for Canada who have scored golden goals at the World Junior Championship. Matt Halishchuk in 2008. Kent Johnson in August. And now Gunther, the Edmonton native, has struck to give Canada the first repeat gold medal at the World Junior Championship since 2009.
There's a cautious overtime, but that turnover there by Coors allows Canada to counter 2-on-1. The early pass from Gunther, so smart to get it to Waugh, who has a shot or pass option. And he outweights the sprawling defender. And Gunther, strong bottom hand, just get it up. And he's able to tuck it home. Short side finally solving Suhanik. And Joshua Waugh, so clutch. Yes, gets it past Suhanik. And you know it's coming. And he just gets enough of it to get it up and over Suhanik. Well executed, 2-on-1. And Canada finds a way in overtime again.
A nail-biting win over Slovakia in the quarters. Down 2 to the U.S. in the semis. And then overtime again tonight. And Canada has repeated as World Junior champions in breathtaking fashion.